Homeless veterans in Milwaukee may soon have a new place to stay in the city. Plus, a Wisconsin Court of Appeals decision demonstrates why sellers cannot always rely on as-is clauses. We'll have all the details coming up next. Your real estate news starts now. Thank you for watching your real estate news. I'm your host, Stacy Hansen. Let's take a look at your headlines. Homeless veterans in the Milwaukee area may soon have a new place to stay inside one of several historic buildings in the city's Soldiers Home District. That's thanks to a new plan by the Department of Veterans Affairs, according to Fox News. The department is asking developers to propose plans to renovate buildings in the area near Miller Park for veterans who are homeless or may soon be homeless. If approved, the department would issue long-term leases. The Soldiers Home District was originally created to house veterans of the Civil War to give them a place to stay and adjust to life after the war. Historians say it was one of the last acts signed by President Abraham Lincoln before he was assassinated in 1865. Responses to the request for proposals are due by May 18th of 2016. VA officials say they hope the project will be more formalized by this summer as far as developers they are working with for the project. A recent Wisconsin Court of Appeals decision determined that a seller cannot rely on an as-is clause to escape liability for untrue or misleading statements. In December of 2015, the court affirmed a jury verdict and $50,000 in damages for a buyer in an as-is transaction, according to the Wisconsin Realtors Association. In this case, Bank of America acquired a Menominee Falls property in foreclosure that had severe water damage. A buyer closed on the property believing that the resulting mold problems were limited to the basement. When the buyer subsequently met with a contractor about replacing the kitchen cabinets, though, it became apparent that mold saturated the livable areas of the house as well. The homeowner then sued the bank. The bank rested on the as-is clauses, addendums, and disclaimers that had been provided when the offer was accepted. The bank had also stated that it had little or no direct knowledge about the condition of the property based on multiple discussions with the listing agent regarding water and eventual mold problems. However, the jury found that claim was untrue and deceptive. According to the Wisconsin Realtors Association, the most common goal of parties using an as-is clause is to limit liability arising from condition issues, title problems, unpaid taxes, or other post-closing surprises. Sales of previously owned U.S. homes unexpectedly rose to the second highest level since 2007 this January. Bloomberg Business says it indicates that the real estate industry will continue to prosper this year. They cited near record low mortgage rates, steady job gains, and better wage growth as factors that are helping to encourage prospective buyers. Closings also advanced 0.4% to 5.47 million annual rate in January, according to data released by the National Association of Realtors. Their data also showed that first-time buyers accounted for 32% of all purchases. That's up 28% from January of 2015. The NAR's chief economist has expressed concern, however, that prices are rising way too fast as the number of homes available for sale shrinks. The number of previously owned homes for sale in January 2016 fell to 1.82 million, which is just over 2% less than in January 2015. Stay tuned, we have more coming up right after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Josh Lavick with Keller Williams. Welcome back, Josh. Nice to have you here again.
Hey, thanks, Stacy. Good to see you again.
So what's happening in the real estate market these days?
Well, spring is definitely here, even though there might still be a little snow out there. We've noticed a lot more activity, actually even just in the last 2 weeks, which is, if I think back to last year and the year before, it tends to pick up usually after the Super Bowl. Our peak number of sales for the market tend to happen in June or July. So, those buyers are out there looking right now, actually.
Great. Now, do you have some cool new listings to share with us today?
I do. So actually, one of my favorite new listings we have is over in the Winona neighborhood. So just south Lake Monona. Actually, it's one of my favorite areas because I live there. We also have a great new listing there. This solid brick ranch home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's just down from Esther Beach and right along the bike path for $234,900.
Now that sounds like a nice one. It'll probably sell pretty quickly, I bet. Do you find that homes are selling faster right now?
Yeah, well, thanks so much for bringing that up. Actually, homes are definitely starting to sell quicker. There was a house we just listed at 1201 Brookwood Road over on the west side over in the Green Tree neighborhood. And this was previously on the market last year, but it did not sell. The seller then contacted my team and we repackaged the home, did some new staging, and launched our 120-point marketing plan for maximum exposure. And then we got 4 offers after our first open house.
Wow, that's fantastic. So people that had a hard time selling their home last year, what would you say to them now?
Well, now is definitely the time, and we can help you get it sold. Our action plan works, and the one thing I'll say is that not all real estate agents are created the same. There's a lot of agents out there, but there's some that are really doing things well at a high level, and I would argue that we're one of those teams.
I can definitely see that. Now, do you have any other listings you want to tell us about?
Yeah, absolutely. One of our newest ones we have is at 5102 Raymond Road. This is a ranch over in the Meadowwood subdivision. Exceptionally well maintained, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,590 square feet. This one's at 219.9. Or another good starter home over on the east side at 2014 Ellen Avenue. This was built in the mid-80s. Very well maintained, new laminate wood floors, open floor plan. This one for only $185. Really, we've got some good ones.
Yeah, you've got some great ones out there. Now, it sounds like the market is starting to pick up then, huh?
Yeah, I could tell you about a few of our other listings, but they're all under contract right now. So we've got an awesome downtown Madison condo listed at 201 North Blair Street. That's it was listed at $420,000. That's selling, so it's not just the lower price ranges. But another one we have at 424 North Fair Oaks. Really cute little ranch near the Atwood neighborhood for $148,900. That one's got an accepted offer. Another one in Oregon, 325 Ash Street, just got an accepted offer, priced at $234,900. So yeah, the market's definitely picking up. If anything, we're at really low inventory levels right now. And so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is definitely the time. And like I said, we'd be happy to help you.
Yeah, and we keep hearing so much about the inventories being so low right now. So now's definitely the time to sell if you've been kind of on the fence about that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. Last I looked, our inventory levels were at about 2.4 months of inventory. Usually they consider around 5 to 7 months a balanced market. So we're, definitely a seller's market. If you're a potential home buyer, it's going to be a little more competitive out there. I met with some buyers today, and we were writing an offer, and there was another offer currently on the table that they were competing against. So if you're a buyer, you just kind of got to be prepared for that. But the best homes are selling quick.
Yeah, definitely something to keep in mind. Well, thanks so much, Josh, for stopping by again today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And stay tuned. And welcome back. My next guest is Angela Lakhan with First Weber. Welcome, Angela. So nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Now tell us a little about yourself. What areas do you actually cover?
We cover Juneau County, Adams County, Vernon, Sauk, Columbia, and even parts of Monroe.
Now, I like to ask people too, if property owners are out there considering selling, why would you say this is a good time to list?
Right now is a great time to list. We have a lot of buyers out there who are looking for the perfect home, the perfect land, a commercial opportunity that just is not for sale right now. Anybody who is even interested in listing should definitely get a hold of me, and I would love to help them because we have buyers that would love to see their properties.
Now, I saw that you have a very unique 3-acre property on Castle Rock Lake. I see it's within walking distance to the Dirty Turtle and Pine Cove. Can you tell us about that one?
I do. It is a wonderful, unbelievable property, a once-in-a-lifetime find. It's just over 3 acres. It's all wooded. Someone could come in and build their dream home or their getaway home, and they could have the seclusion of this property, yet be very close to the lake and all the fun establishments around it. There's great year-round fun for everyone.
It's super convenient. Now, can you tell us about this other listing that you have in Elroy?
Yes, so we do the surrounding communities as well. The property I have in Elroy is at 205 Riverview Drive. In Elroy, it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. The asking price is $149,900. It's on almost a half an acre, so it's kind of like country living, but still in the city limits, so you have the amenities as far as water and sewer hookups for the city and close to the grocery stores and everything, but just a beautiful, solid home.
That just sounds like an ideal setting too. Now, foreclosure properties by Castle Rock Lake, you have some of those as well?
Yes, there still are foreclosures out there. This property is bank owned. It's actually 2 lots on Waterstone, which is a waterfront community in Castle Rock Lake. There is amenities such as an indoor water park, a pool, hot tub and tennis courts, basketball courts, just a lot of fun for everybody. It's all wooded, 1.31 acres, and someone could build their dream home or just a getaway home, whatever they'd like to do.
Those are some amazing listings. I'm sure those are going to go very quickly for you, so you need to get on those. And thanks so much for stopping by today.
Thank you so much.
And you stay tuned, we have more coming up right after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate News. My next guest is Savannah Howgood with Century 21. Welcome back, Savannah.
Thank you.
So spring is coming up fast, and historically buyers get more serious about purchasing a home that time of year. So for those of our viewers out there that are thinking about that, what can they do to prepare from your perspective?
Well, first off, getting your credit in order, because as the old rule still applies, the higher your credit score, the lower your monthly payment will be. If you have a credit score that is above 700, you're going to get a very good deal, but if it's above 750, you're going to get the best rates on the market. Second, you should be doing this already, but building up your savings account with each paycheck. A good rule of thumb is, on average, you will likely spend 2.5% to 3% of your home's value each year on upkeep, repairs, and maintenance. Third, many first-time homebuyers are currently renting, so it is advised to revisit your lease agreement and learn about the penalties for breaking those or breaking your lease. Lastly, it is important to talk with your lender and get pre-approved so that you know the price range before you see the homes in person.
That's good sound advice too. You definitely want to know what that price range is before you fall in love with something that's way out of your range. So a lot of people start this search online, and you're saying it's important to get pre-approved before they go out and start looking. Now, why do you say that?
Well, the home buying process does not begin with home searching. Unless you're sitting on a big pile of money and you can pay for it all in cash, I would recommend getting a mortgage. But the pre-approval process is much more extensive than it was a few years ago, and it is important to get all that figured out before you actually walk through the first door of that first home. You know, I always say, picture this. If you go to an open house and you haven't talked to a lender or maybe not even a real estate agent, and you fall in love with the house, and maybe there's an offer that's put on the table right then and there, and you're devastated because you are in love with this house and you aren't prepared because you don't have the proper pre-approval and you don't know who to go to for putting an offer in. One way to be ready is to call me at the number below, and we will set up a buyer meeting and we will go over the process so that you are well on your way to purchasing your next home.
Great idea to have that meeting too, just to get prepared. Now let's talk just a little bit about, you have a great online presence too, even an app.
Yes.
Too. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so if you go to your online mobile store and search Home Scouting, you can find our app and just make sure you type in our VIP code of 2121, and then you'll be directed to our personalized app. And that way you won't be getting any other realtors or lenders, calling you and emailing you, trying to get you to get their business. And that way it will be either myself or Kirsten helping you, and we will personalize each thing for you.
And that is worth so much there
Yes.
too, just to know that your information isn't being sold and you're just getting contacted directly by you too. So
Yes.
That's great. Well, thanks so much for stopping by today. Lots of great information.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.
And you stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this. And welcome back. With me now is Rich Moen with RE/MAX Solutions. Welcome, Rich. Now you've got a slogan, real estate outside the box. What do you mean by that exactly?
Great question. Most agents work pretty much the same. They use the same forms, and I do as well. However, there are some things that can be done that are just a little bit different, that are innovative, that can really be an advantage for either a buyer or seller, depending on who I'm working for.
Well, I'm interested to hear some of these. What are some of the ideas for buyers?
Well, the basics for buyers are still the same. They need to have a good pre-approval from a financing lender, ready to go for an offer. But once they've looked at a few homes, if they narrow it down to 2 or 3 that they really like, now they got to decide who they're going to write on. Well, what about writing on 2 homes? That way the seller knows that they're competing for that buyer's dollar. And so that's one of the things we do. Has to be done properly, but one of the options out there. The other, another thing to keep in mind is that right now buyers have the availability to actually purchase homes with 0 down payment. The slides show that there are areas that don't qualify. It's called the Guaranteed Rural Housing Program, and metropolitan areas it doesn't work. So it doesn't work right in Madison, it doesn't work right in Milwaukee, and a number of areas, but anywhere in between it pretty much works all over.
Are there some restrictions that buyers should be aware of on that?
Yes, in both cases. With the rural housing loans, there are income restrictions and so on, but they are pretty forgiving on that, especially with a family with young children. And as far as I mentioned writing 2 offers, there's definitely language we need to put into that offer to protect the buyer so they're not forced to buy 2 homes, because that could be financial suicide.
Now, we can't leave sellers out of this. What are some out-of-the-box ideas for them?
Well, Stacy, with sellers, a lot of the similar ideas, and without getting into particulars, but things like knowing how many photographs to post. Sellers forget that selling a home, or for a buyer buying a home, is actually a process of elimination. And many agents will put 25, 35 photos out there. They think the more photos, the better. Statistically, that is not true. So knowing what to do there. The other thing I was going to mention is I talked about the 2 offers. Recently I had a seller who was the recipient of one of my dual offers, and he was listed with a different company. Well, the buyer chose the other home, but when his home came up for relisting, he chose not to stay with the office he was. He called me because he wanted someone who thought outside the box to take care of his listing. Fortunately, we were able to get it done fairly quickly.
And that's excellent. That says it all right there. Well, thanks so much for stopping by today, Rich. It was wonderful to meet you.
Okay, thank you.
And stay tuned. And welcome back. With me now is Chris Thomas from Right on Target Real Estate. Welcome, Chris. So nice to meet you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been a real estate agent since 1999. I started out working for several different companies over the years, and got some experience working with some bigger companies and some smaller companies, and around the commercial and also the new home sales part of things. So it gave me a lot of chances to really get out there and kind of figure out a lot of the different aspects of real estate.
So can you help buyers find the perfect home in this seller's market that we've got right now?
Absolutely. A lot of times what I hear from people is that they call me and they oftentimes call off of signs, or they use apps that you probably heard of like Trulia and Zillow, and they're finding that these properties that they're finding on there have already been spoken for. They're already sold. And we have a system in place where we create a special search criteria for them. And once that property that they have out there that they want to take a look at pops up on the MLS, it automatically emails that to them, so they don't miss out on properties that just come on the market. And in this market, you have to be out there right away in order to get in those houses and possibly write an offer. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have to be quick. What tools does your company use that might help market your clients' home?
Well, we use a bunch of different things. I'm glad you asked that. We have this technology called a talking house, which is quite a neat thing, where we actually can record a message on this transmitter that we place inside of the home, And that transmitter then, when you're driving by in the street, there's a sign out front that says tune your radio into such and such a station, maybe 1610 or whatever we decide to use. And then they can listen to a message 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The beauty of that is it gives them information whenever they need it, but we never want to give them all the information there. We also have a special sign writer that we place on top of the real estate sign that has a QR code and also a text message number they can text, and they can get pictures of the inside of the home, and they also can get other important information such as pricing. But once they do that, it captures their phone number. So it allows us, when we're working with clients that are selling houses, to be able to do a better job of getting to those people and possibly setting up appointments.
Now, those are some cool tools. Just really quickly, what else could you say that your company does that makes it a little bit different?
Well, we have a system when it comes to everything we do, whether we're helping people buy homes, helping people sell homes, and we don't deviate from that too much. It's kind of like my own recipe for success. And over the years, when we followed that system, from A to Z, the results have been pretty good. Even during the really bad years when the market was quite bad for everybody, we always had quite a good success, really. And I think part of that is that I've got a sales background. I've been in sales for over 20 years, but then the system that we have really works well too.
And together they just work really well. It shows. Well, thanks so much for stopping by today. It was wonderful to meet you.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. For all of us here, I want to thank our guests for their time today, and also thank you for tuning in to your real estate news. I'm Stacy Hansen. We'll see you next time.